Hey everybody, it's Cole from Rookie Ace, and today is going to mark the start of a new series. Starting now, we're going to be doing Wings of Glory Wednesdays, where each week on Wednesday I'll post up a short little video like this, and we talk about all things Wings of Glory First World War. The reason I'm doing this is because, real life has been really busy for me, and, I know I said I'd get the latest Wings of Glory dogfight video out a while ago, and that has not happened yet. So I do apologize for that. I felt bad about that. And I wanted to make sure that I still, post content to this channel that would, show some love to the Wings of Glory side of my life. So, anyway, so here we are. And, yeah, before I begin also, that dogfight episode is coming. I've said that a lot, but trust me, it is coming. And, things have just been crazy with finals week and, Furious Flea being off to the hospital over and over. It's just been quite crazy, but it is coming, so just know that. But anyway, today we are going to talk about the Fokker D.VII. It is one of the best fighter planes in Wings of Glory, and I'm going to show you why. So we have here my 3 models of the D.VII that I have. I'm very proud of them. I was fortunate enough to have picked up a Udette model of the D.VII, so, I love the paint scheme. The pilot's got an incredibly interesting story in real life, and last but not least, my custom painted D.VII. If you've watched any of my Rise of Flight videos on this channel, you'll know that this is actually the paint scheme that I fly with my virtual squadron, so it's very personalized, and it's a lot of fun to field on the game table. Anyway, so, yeah, so let's look at the maneuver deck. So, with the D.VII, it's a bit on the faster side, as you can see right there. I'll put a SPAD 13 card beside it for comparison. So the SPAD 13 and the SE5A are, I think, the fastest planes we have in the game for World War I right now. So you'll notice there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean, we're talking about a centimeter's worth, or like my pinky finger, So, well, the SPAD 13 and SE5 can definitely walk away from the D.VII. It'll take them quite a bit of time before they actually get out of gun range. So the D.VII has the ability to stick with them just long enough to lay some serious hurt. So anyway, so you've got the basic straights, and you have all the basic stuff like the Immelman, the climb, and the dive. All very basic. Every plane has that. Worth noting, speaking of climbing, the D.VII climbs on a 2. So that means it only has to play this climb card twice, and it gets a whole nother level of altitude. So if I'm correct, currently what we have in the game, the highest climbing planes, the fastest climbing planes, climb on a 2, so this is a very, very fast climb rate, and it's right up there with the SPAD and the SE5, so those boys won't be able to get away from it that way. Then you have your standard turns to the right and to the left, so there's the left, there's the right. It's got a, it's a nice mix of girth, it's not so tight, their standard turn, but also it's not as wide as, say, the SPAD or the SE5 standard turn, so it's nice to play if you need to get a little distance between yourself and your target, and but still you don't need to fly a whole state's worth around them, So it's pretty reliable, nothing too fancy, but that's the turn. And then the D.VII also does have some pretty basic side slips. They're the same speed as their straight. Nothing too fancy. A lot of planes have those. But then we start to get into the tight turns. So tight turns are really useful when you really need to hang a corner and get on somebody's tail, or evade them if they're coming across your tail. So the D.VII has 2 tight turns to the right. That's very impressive. The Camel is the only Allied plane that has more tight turns to the right, and it's got 3. But you hardly ever need to use 3 in a row. It's very rare. At least I've found it myself. But look at this. This is rare. This is rare indeed. the D.VII not only has 2 tight turns to the right, it's got 2 to the left as well. That gives it the option for really high maneuverability in any direction it chooses, really. You know, even the DR1 has only 2 tight turns, and the SE5, it only has 1 tight turn in either direction, and those are a steep maneuver, and as you'll see here, these are not steep maneuvers, so they don't stress the aircraft. You can play as many of them in a row as you like. It's quite freaky. So that's definitely good, but look at this. Yeah, I mean, no other fighter that I know of has that maneuver in their deck. This is a D.VII only maneuver. It is a stall turn to the right and a stall turn to the left. So it is a steep maneuver, but what this does is it replicates the D.VII's historical ability to basically hang on its prop and almost be motionless in the air while it's trying to stay behind an enemy or force an overshoot. This is extremely useful when paired with, like, say this maneuver. You plan this, then you plan that, and you hook around very fast and stay, and then all of a sudden hit the brakes. That is very useful when you're trying to get on somebody's tail. And then, finally, you have these 2 cards. At first glance, it looks like the standard 2 stall cards that every plane in Wings of Glory has. But look at this. This one isn't a stressed maneuver. It isn't a, it's not a, I just lost my words. What is it? It's, it's not a steep maneuver. That's what. So, you know, you can play this, and then you can play the next one too. Because in standard rules, you cannot play 2 steep maneuvers together. Otherwise, your plane falls out of control. But, so like any other plane in the game could not play 2 short straights. But the D.VII can, because this first one isn't even straight, it isn't even steep. And so you could literally, if you're playing your cards right, you could do this, that's a steep maneuver, this, that's not steep, and then this, another steep maneuver, and literally go almost nowhere. It is quite a fun little trick to have up your sleeve. And it's something to be aware of if you end up fighting the D.VII. Also worthy of note is that the D.VII has 16 points of damage. So as far as fighters go, that is on the top end of damage that it can take. So it's a very robust plane too. You know, if you're looking at other planes that maybe have 13, like the DR1, or even as low as 10 as some of the Newports do, 16 is quite a lot. Also, it has A guns, so it draws from the A damage deck, which means basically it's got 2 machine guns instead of 1 and deals more damage per card. So all in all, the D.VII is a fearsome foe to find yourself flying against on the table. That's all for today. We'll be back next Wednesday talking about another plane. If you got any thoughts about the D.VII, feel free to share them in the comments. You know, I totally don't think I am the end-all be-all expert on this plane, and if you've got any tricks up your sleeve that are cool to use, I'd be all ears, because, you know, when I fly against Furious Flea, he is definitely a furious flyer, and he knows how to use every ounce of his planes to his ability, so, yeah. Anyway, until next time, salute and blue skies.